Paul, first of all, your thoughts on the penalty that decided the game?
Just had a look there, it's not totally clear, but probably does look a penalty. So I think we a couple of things, and I could roll it back further, but in terms of the clip I've seen, the ball shouldn't come in the box firstly. Secondly, we're the wrong side in the penalty area to let the lad get to the ball, and then once he's had that extra touch, there's no need to commit to it, to give the referee a decision. So no real complaints.
What about at the other end when it looked like Ben Fox should have had it?
That was the one. I haven't looked at that because it's irrelevant. We haven't got it. I think we had one shout that certainly didn't look a penalty. One that I thought looked a lot more, but he didn't seem to want to give it. So that's ended up, like I said, with the defeat and a very disappointing afternoon getting knocked out of the cup.
What about the general performance today?
I knew it was going to be a difficult game, first and foremost. Credit to Kidderminster. I think in possession they're probably better than some of the teams that we have faced and will face. But I felt we dealt with a lot of that, in fairness. But then it kind of just got a bit scrappy and they give the penalty away, and then that allowed him with the conditions as well. They upped a lot of balls on. I thought they had willing runners that stopped the ball coming straight back, kept the ball up the pitch, and made it difficult for us to get any real kind of momentum or create anything of too much note. We had one or two when Lenny came on, but overall I'm obviously disappointed, John.
And the lack of chances or the lack of shots on target is a similar story really to the last couple of games.
I look back at the Notts County and I've said performance, delighted with. Do you want to try and create some better chances overall? Yes, but we had situations, and that might sound as though you're trying to make an excuse, and maybe I can't translate it quite how I would like to, but there were enough scenarios that we could have got a goal and didn't, and then got done at the end. Today's different in terms of the overall performance was nowhere near in comparison to the Notts County game. And chances, I think Will had one first off, met the keeper, saved down to his left at his near post. And again, these are just ones that stand out. I think Lenny's had two when he came on. Balls across the box, a couple. There was one we've got, one of my attacking players is stood outside, I think, the edge of the box, and the ball's coming in from the other side of the pitch. So they're messages that we need to really try and get into the players. They've already been told that, but if they're not happening, we need to, like I say, try and hammer that message home. Because at times that first off we got in good areas, and then we just kind of putting nothing balls in there, back to a quality kind of issue, I suppose. We had a lot of attacking players missing today, but we have to play with which ones we have, and as you say, we didn't just overall, and it's not just the attackers. We have to be better all round. Full backs putting better balls in the box is one thing, for example. Midfielders making the box more quality in his play to get up there in the first.
You said a lot of attackers missing. Is that why you went for the shape that you went today?
Yeah, it's something I think, it took us a little while to get into it, but I think we could certainly play that way. However, it was probably influenced a little bit. We lost. I didn't certainly want to risk Erico. He reported some fluid on his knee yesterday. Kind of went through it, felt like he was alright, but I didn't see a value in risking it personally. Easy to say after the event, or maybe we should have, but again, if something more sinister happens there, we're losing for a long time. Max Wright pulled out this morning, travelled. If you've seen him, that's right, we had 8, something like 9, same injury. It's a frustration for everyone concerned. So it kind of certainly made my mind up in terms of which way to go.
You mentioned a couple of players who might be missing today and might be fit for next week, so you might tell us after the game.
Yeah.
Who were they?
Well, I think that was Erico was after that, and Mike spoke. We had Adam Crooks. He pulled out of training, scored quite early on Thursday, and Alex Sun had been feeling his hamstring. He's never had that sort of injury, so we kind of erred on the side of caution with him in terms of we hope and we feel that the feeling is at the minute that it's just stiffness, tiredness in there rather than he's actually done anything. So they were the two. Got James McEwen on the bench. He had to be on there, but wasn't fit to start and I wouldn't have started him. So yeah, look, we've had a few things to deal with, but that doesn't take away. And I'm not, you've asked me a question. I hope that it doesn't come across I'm looking for excuses. That's not what I'm doing.
Having said that, the injuries are building up, aren't they?
Yeah, Will, another one. He was ill Tuesday, Wednesday. Came back in Thursday. Started him a few things, but then took a knock. He's hobbling off there at the end. So yeah, we'll have to assess. I'm more, without being unkind to those players, I'm more looking at the performance and the result rather than who wasn't here and who's perhaps injured.
And it is important now you get a result from your next game.
Of course, as I said today, and we haven't. So that anything it builds or more disappointments around. What I will say is it's the same group of players that everyone loved and everyone thinks are fantastic. Now we're missing some. Do they make us better? I think the reality is yes. But at the same time, you go through spells, and it's I've said before, it's about our people stepping up. We can talk about a different shape and things like that, but ultimately that for me would be an excuse for the players. It's 11 v 11, and I just felt that it looked like it just meant more to them, and that is a horrible thing to say, and I would hear any manager have said that about myself in the past when it comes to things, but that I have to, again, that's my honest view on it. They were a couple of balls second half, they went, no, we win the first header, and then I can see them sprinting to get on the seconds, and they got that, and it resulted in a few kind of moments of sort of panic in our box. Not through really, and no disrespect, I think they do play some good football at times, play a lot better than they did today. But that's just a determination, a desire, and I didn't see enough of that from us overall. Again, I think that kind of can see that in terms of how we observe the players. And there's no doubt now I'm starting to ask some questions of individuals, of the squad, and ultimately it's not me, I'm the manager. I know you're the one that gets obviously a lot of the criticism, that's fine, but it's players that make things happen, and I think you find me when we've done well, a lot of that is down to the players, a hell of a lot. We try and help them tweak things or give them information. So I'm hoping that what was a bad result at Wealdstone has now turned into 3 defeats. Now the one in between, as I've said, I was extremely pleased with a hell of a lot of it. Today I wasn't, and kind of a lot of questions going through my mind.